Welcome to the next part of the fantasy version walkthrough. This version we're going to get to the Mare Key, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So what we're doing now is what I mentioned at the end of the last video, which is registering the broomstick so it can be easily accessed, which is always a good thing. And now we can just fly back to Sage City, we don't have to walk back. And I went and healed, and then this is just sort of it's a very straightforward way through Babbling Brook to get to Time City. So here we are, and it's fairly straightforward. Probably the most prominent building is this one, with the massage person. She'll check your friendship, and she'll also massage your Pokemon if necessary. Golbat's quite a good one to do if you've got the money, because then obviously it will evolve into Crobat if you're happy with the moveset. Quarantine Land, so this is the next part of the storyline. You've got to go through Quarantine Land. This trainer here is compulsory, and he's got 2 Natus, so they can be taken out. There's Miracle Seed if you've got a grass type move you want to use. So yeah, this is a compulsory part of the storyline. It's a fairly easy map to navigate. It's quite wide enough. There's a Thunderstone, that's new to version 2. He's a storage guy. This is the daycare. You won't be able to use the daycare straight away. You'll have to get the key on this video before the daycare person wakes up. So she's asleep at the minute. And this is obviously a storage person there for when you kind of not daycare, so it's obviously a lot easier to use that. This trainer's got 1 Hariyama. Hopefully you shouldn't find it too difficult. You sort of progress down the map. Again, I'm doing the thing where I bleep out the wild battles. I also bleeped out his battle because he's not a compulsory trainer. This elf woman here is Myla. You just have to talk to her. You don't have to like fight her at the minute. Emphasis on at the minute. So you just talk to her and she does a bit of talking, and then she'll go back to Time City. You can see the gate just south needs the that's the Mare Key, so that's this key as well, and that leads to Burnt Land, which is good for training, but that's about it. So she'll obviously speak and go off. So then you're back to Time City. Now she's to the right. Oh, you got to battle her. I lost to her twice, and actually won, but off camera, so then I had to try and win on camera, and this was a strategy. She sends out Shinotic first. I went for the Poison Fang. It's got a Kebia Berry, but we went for it anyway. It's quite annoying because it can inflict status conditions, and she also got the full heal. I sent out Golbat first because it's immune to poison, and Shinotic's Effect Spore can get the poison. Also, it's poison type, which is 4 times effective against Shinotic. It fainted, so then this one's probably her best Pokemon, Ninetales. What a pain it is. It carries Solar Beam and Flamethrower, and it's got Harsh Sun, so it pretty much knock out anyone that's not really bulky or not a dragon type like Dragon is. So it uses Toxic, which is probably, even though it's an annoying move, it's probably its best move. Nasty Plot, if you don't knock it out soon after it uses Nasty Plot, it's going to sweep you, basically. So you've got to try and deal with that. Togekiss, without a poison type like Bat, this is very difficult. It's a Paraflinch Togekiss, so it's got the Thunder Wave and the Air Slash. So you've really got to try and find your way around that. I found the way around that by using a Cherry Berry. And what we did was we just kept Poison Fanging it until it basically couldn't sustain itself. Even with all the potions, the Poison Fang was doing more damage. So that was basically the strategy there. And plus the Toxic was hurting it as well. So that's how I managed to get rid of Togekiss. We found it quite easy, but this fight can be pretty difficult if you've not got a decent poison type. So she goes off, and now you enter the Boneyard. So this goes compulsory with a Numel and a Duskull. The next fight coming up is against the Dark Abomasnow. And this one, as you'll see, we kept losing to quite a lot. It's another compulsory trainer with a Poliwhirl. This one we kept losing to quite a lot, but before we battle the Abomasnow, we're going to show a shortcut so you can go heal and then come back. So there's an ice block up here, and it's, you just go like that. And you should find self-destruct for if you ever want to use that move. You got to fight her to use the shortcut with a Cubone, I think 2 Cubones, yeah. And then you just sort of walk up like that and go through the shortcut, and then you're pretty close to the Abomasnow, which you can see on the right of the screen there. So we lost to it constantly. So you can see how many times it knocks out. It has a Blizzard, which is pretty lethal. We then decided to do more grinding, as demonstrated. We then went to Dark Forest East and did grinding as well. This trainer is eventually a compulsory trainer with Cottony and Petilil. And then there's a second one as well, which we'll see in a moment. Here he is, with a Mighty Enno. So you'll need to fight them at some point, just not necessarily now, but at some point. Here we are at the shore. There's two useful items here, a Scary Face book and a Waterstone. I could have used the Waterstone to evolve Lilypad, but I decided not to, just in case it might learn a decent move later on. And then after all that grinding, we still got knocked out quite a lot, even though we got far at some points. Blizzard is an absolute pain, even if you resist ice, because it still takes out more than half of your HP at this point, especially in the hail. So we did even more grinding and still kept losing. As you can see on there, it was incredibly, this fight was so bad because my team's full of flying types and it's also got a dragon type as well, so our team was not well built for this particular fight. So I'm not sure what I'm demonstrating here. We did even more grinding, found Giga Drain, which came in useful in the fight. So we sent out Bat and Lilypad first. Poison Fang gets it down to at least a quarter. I decided to use Nature Power because I didn't know what the move would do, because I just learned it and got rid of another move. Turns out to be Energy Ball, which not really that useful against the Abomasnow. So now it's down to a quarter, so it's going to send out Swinub first. At this point, I thought, hang on, I've got Giga Drain and Swinub's weak to grass, so it shouldn't be too difficult to take care of it. So that's pretty much what happened. Swinub carries Ice Shard, which can be annoying because then the Abomasnow's hit can take out whatever Pokemon, even if it resists ice quite well. I also thought of a strategy using Hattie and Calm Mind, but it also has Razor Leaf, which is a physical move, so that's pretty much useless because it just uses that and almost knocks it out. We decided to go for the Poison Fang again because it's vulnerable. We used Lilypad's turn to heal it. So that was our strategy for that turn. Blizzard, quite terrible. If Bat wasn't so bulky, it would definitely get O-Code. I mean, Bird would get O-Code by Blizzard quite easily. So then Snova has the same weaknesses as Abomasnow because it's the same type. So we decided to use Poison Fang and heal Bat because Poison Fang was very useful in this fight because obviously a bunch of grass types. You went for the Razor Leaf. You just gotta sometimes hope it goes for Razor Leaf instead of Blizzard because it occasionally will and occasionally won't. Poison Fang again, and I presume we're gonna heal Lilypad on this one. These two were pretty crucial in this fight. As you can see, he uses Blizzard again. And we managed to also take care, if you can take care of the Snova before the hail ends for the first time, it won't happen a second time because it won't use Snow Warning. So if you can take care of the hail fairly quickly early on, then that's obviously very useful. You've got Sneasel as the last henchman, and this one we couldn't really get the damage on, so we thought we kept trying with these two. I think the strategy was to I know it's time to switch at this point. So switch Bat for Bird, and the strategy here was to also heal Lilypad because it's quite resistant against most of the moves, with it being part water type as well. That's basically what we ended up doing. I used Razor Leaf instead of Blizzard and Pluck on Sneasel, and also we decided to go for, pardon my voice, we decided to heal Lilypad on its turn. So we're just constantly healing on one of the turns and attacking on the other, which is a good strategy against the dark Pokemon. So Lilypad finally goes down, and then we just basically got to hope that we can not get O-Code constantly. We're pretty late on in the fight, we've got quite a lot of Mons left, so we're pretty hopeful at this point. Hattie distracts the Sneasel, and then Bird is allowed to take it down. At this point, Abomasnow is poisoned, so it's literally we've literally just got to survive about 3 turns, and then we've got it. So that was what we were sort of going for at this rate. We know that Dragon's probably not going to do well against Blizzard, but nonetheless we used it, and then it didn't matter anyway because it used Pluck, and Abomasnow finally went down after all those attempts. So once Abomasnow goes away, Myla talks to you, and then your next part of the adventure is to go to Ice Mountain. But we decided to heal first, and then we went on. This map can be annoying if you can't navigate it properly. The way that I'm going in this walkthrough is almost the right way. I occasionally have a look in some side rooms, but on the most part, it's pretty accurate. These ice cubes are very useful, obviously, and you could just easily go back to that part of the map. There's one later on that's even more useful, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So now you can just walk up these stairs. You go across here like that. I didn't pick up that item before the legend. Now these are stones. They're not rock smash stones. They're actually fossils, a bit like in Gen 1 with Mount Moon. But they're actually the Gen 6 fossils. And the one that you don't pick up, Milo will pick up. So that's basically what happens. And now you can carry on. Ice stone down there, which we pick up. That's new to version 2 as well. Useful if you've got a whatever Pokemon evolve with that. Carry on into this cave. And then it's a matter of going up this ladder here. We end up, and this trainer here is compulsory, and she's got a Medicham, which can be annoying with Force Palm, but if you know how to take care of it, it's not really difficult. This guy's also compulsory with a Swablu. I think 2 Swablu's he's got, it's not that difficult. You can avoid this trainer just by going through the grass, but if you want to fight them, you can fight them. I decided not to, but there you go. There's an item there, Revive, potentially useful later on. Especially at this point in the game where you've not got a lot of money to buy them. I mean, you can buy them just if you're a bit low on cash. You don't need to fight that trainer up there. Instead, go down this ladder. Literally at this point, I was sort of improvising. I didn't know this was the correct direction. It just so happened it was. A Mystic Water, useful if you got a water type move, obviously. I move on to this part. I was pausing, wondering whereabouts I was on the map, but I soon found out. We're up here, and we go in there. And then it's just a matter of eventually, you go down those stairs and you don't jump down the ledge. You go to the southwest into this sort of outing here, and you're very close to the end of this point. There's the other ice cube I was referring to. Make sure you melt it because it makes Ice Mountain really easy to pass through in the future. And then we carry on down there. There's no fight or anything. You get Milo comes and talks to you once you reach Alpine Meadow. Basically complains about the mare. Your next objective is to make your way through Alpine Meadow, but first you got to try and do the shortcut. So this guy's got an Amora and a Tyrant, the 2 Gen 6 fossils. You'll find out why I fought him in a minute, but this is the sort of way through Alpine Meadow. This next chap that's about to come up is compulsory. He's got a Herdier and 2 Herdiers, Herdier, whatever you want to pronounce it. You go for the middle path. Also, you've got an ether, whatever you want to call it. No, I went through the top. Most of the paths weren't fine. The bottom path has a trainer. There's a Dawnstone. You carry on down here, and you just sort of follow this relatively carefully. See what can come up, and yeah, you sort of just go through this area. This next trainer is compulsory. We're not fighting them yet. This one's compulsory. Just a shortcut. Got an Ursaring, east block of ice going on there. Seems to be a lot of banging. Going back to the next room. Guy's got a Cubchoo, and we're about to face the mare. This one was another one that took me forever, but yeah, and you'll see why. This Lucario just kept knocking out my team. It was pretty terrible. It kept raising its attack. It used Swords Dance, it used Meteor Mash. Once we hit it with a Dark Tech move, so it used Justified. So its attack got really high really quickly. And we even lost to its first one, Grumpig, a couple of times. And then when we did get to a stage where we could beat Lucario, Miltank kept knocking us out as well. So as you can see, there's numerous attempts of us trying to beat this mare and not succeeding. We thought maybe my more super potions would help. So then this must be the real attempt. So here he is. He's got a Grumpig. Grumpig's fairly easy to take care of. You just got to look out for its Teeter Dance. So we gave Bird a Persimberry, and we used Hone Claws twice. So it uses Teeter Dance, but we're not bothered because we've got Persimberry. Sometimes it'll use it twice, and then you've got to be a bit more scared. It goes Energy Ball, hits hardly anything. Power Trip knocks it out, and we don't have to take the Future Sight attack because it's been knocked out. Next up is Lucario, the big menace of this fight. Because we're double Hone Claws, we decided to keep with Bird. Pluck does neutral, close combat doesn't knock out either. It's got White Herb, so normally the defense drops from close combat don't count. So then we switch out to Lilypad because we think it'll tank a Meteor Mash, but it doesn't because it uses close combat instead. So that was obviously annoying. We then send out a Bat at this point because it's quite bulky, as we know, and we use Air Cutter. It uses Extreme Speed, which doesn't hit a lot. annoyingly avoided the air cutter. Now we're a bit worried because it's used Swords Dance and it's going to basically sweep our team. Luckily, it didn't sweep with extreme speed. Instead, it's on 4 HP, so that was quite lucky of us. And then Miltank, the most annoying Pokemon in the main series game. And this one's particularly annoying in this game. And I think we were just trying to work out what strategy to do. That's why we were sort of taking so long on this thing. I don't know what was going on there. I think we used Bird as a sacrifice, or we're about to see. Yeah, I think we used Bird as a sacrifice so we could heal Bat. So the strategy with Miltank, we eventually came to one which was use Poison Fang, so it toxic poisons it, and then at that point it's even if it uses Milk Drink a billion times, or if it gets healed, it doesn't really matter because Toxic's eventually going to catch up with it. Unfortunately, it has a Lumberry, and also the trainer has a full heal, so you got to Toxic it 3 times. But we managed to do that despite being paralyzed and constantly body slammed, which obviously didn't help matters either. But yeah, we managed to eventually get on and do that with Bat, which has honestly been an amazing Pokemon in this playthrough. But nonetheless, so that's twice we've got it now, and then third time. I mean, I wasn't worried about using Defense Curl because it was the poison that's eventually going to knock it out, as opposed to any attacks that we use. Unfortunately, RNG was not on our side, so we couldn't easily get the Poison Fang. Sorry, we couldn't easily get the Toxic stuck in there. We managed it eventually at that point, which I knew. I didn't know at this point how many full heals the trainer had, so I thought it might use it again, but it didn't appear that way. Instead, we're just gonna. So now the only thing left to do is just tank its body slams until the poison eventually knocks it out, which is pretty much exactly what we did. We only had 1 super potion, so we were a bit worried about that. We just sort of carried on with that. Yeah, eventually poison's going to kick in. So this is just basically this part. It keeps body slam paralysis, which is obviously annoying. I think we're a bit, yeah, we've still got 1 super potion left. I think we decided just to sacrifice some of our other Pokemon at this point. I was aware that we did have, that he did have 1 Pokemon left as well, so I had to take that into account too. So I think the next Pokemon to come up is Blissey, which obviously you're going to need a physical attacker, so I thought Hattie would be absolutely useless in this case, so we just decided to send her out instead. I think we did that. We decided to sacrifice Hattie so we could, I think that was a misclick, so we could heal Dragon, because we knew Dragon was a relatively good physical attacker. This was a bit of a risk because I didn't know how well it would hit, but Blissey has Seismic Toss, so we knew that we'd tank a couple of hits from that. I'd completely forgotten Blissey's moveset, which was helpful. So we just Dragon Clawed it. I realised it got to half HP, so it was just a matter of really doing it again and hoping that would knock it out, which is exactly what it did. So that's how I managed to take care of the mare. Easily one of the most annoying fights that I've experienced in this playthrough, but it's not infamous per se. If you've got some decent things to take care of Lucario, it shouldn't be too bad. We get the mare key, so that was pretty decent, and we will join me next time for the pirate key. Thank you very much.